Yes, Cinder, a remix of Dark Souls 3 by Rotaka. Folks, you know what that song means.
Oh, yes.
I mean, by this time, we're 70 rounds in. If you don't know, you're just showing up for the first time, probably.
Yeah.
That's true, and
And
welcome.
if so, welcome.
Well,
yeah,
I
you
mean-
thought I was going to dunk on you, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, that's next time. We can dunk on you next
Yeah,
time.
Yeah, that's
but this time we're good.
Yeah. To be fair, I think this one's only 15 rounds old now, I think, because we swapped around 45.
Oh,
or-
for the
Yeah.
intro. I got you.
Yeah,
Okay, I was just
yeah.
like, This
No,
is 70, my friend.
Yeah.
No, it was round 1. We just renamed it to 70 because versioning is hard.
No, you know, sure.
We did eventually get scissors, so
Get out.
I keep hearing that remix, and I'm just kind of
Oh,
like,
no.
ha! I recognize this.
yeah, they on the GDQ stream we heard them play our outro
Did
in between
they?
one of the games.
And I was just like, wait a sec.
Awesome.
Why do I know this? Wait.
Well, of course. I mean, if you use those two remix, chances are you're going to overlap eventually.
Yeah. And
Despite
they
their,
play a lot of
39
music that's kind of related to the game that's about to come up. So I mean,
yeah,
that's just what they do.
Did they play I Need Scissors 61?
I don't think they played that one.
Man.
The only one
No,
that I
they
recognize-
actually played that mix.
Oh, did
Oh,
they?
really?
yeah, it was
Hilarious.
the exact same remix.
Huh.
Fantastic.
Yeah, that's
It's a
why I was
good
just
mix.
like,
It's so jarring. I don't think I was awake or around for that one.
It was midday.
Okay.
You commented on it in the hotel room
Not-
as
not-
you were coding.
Really?
Yes, we had this conversation.
Oh, I thought it was just the Mario Kart one.
No, well, we heard that too.
Did
Yeah.
that one also go
Yeah.
on? All right.
Oh my
Well,
goodness, yeah.
Great
It's a good
minds
one.
think alike, you know.
I mean, well, when you're
The-
playing a week's worth of music from OCR, well,
The
Yeah,
whole event
with
was
pretty good chance.
awesome. It was an awesome blur.
yeah. So real quick, because this is around the world eventually. Well, initially we were like, let's just do SGDQ. Yeah, we got talked into AGDQ again. So
Yeah.
we're going to Orlando. Yay.
Well, I
And-
mean, at least it's during the good part of the year to be down there.
True, but it's
so-
possibly less humid. Possibly. It's January,
yeah,
so we'll see.
there's a chance.
We'll
a chance
see.
of it being less humid. Well, welcome everybody. I'm MrBond.
Hi, I'm Tormod.
And I'm Saxxon.
Insert credits round 70. Iterative. That's what we do here. We
Yeah.
iterate a lot, as is the norm here since we are on round 70.
Yeah.
That's true.
This is also a very nice round. We're iterating on the previous.
So it's
I guess.
nice prime,
Nice-
I guess.
nice-
Nice prime.
yeah.
Nice prime.
There we
Nice
go.
2. Nice. Well, nice index 1, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm just kind of like,
Yeah. I mean, it's nice. +1.
Yeah.
nice
enough.
with an extra E at the end.
Nice.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
It's kind of like icy, but
But
Nice.
actually nice.
That was the joke. Thank you.
You suck, McBain. All right, so housekeeping, I, of course, did not bring up the calendar.
Oh,
Good
no.
job.
I
And
am-
it's going to be a real
the
treat trying to do
professional.
that right now. So let me do it on my phone.
You don't need
because-
to do it on your phone. I've got
Oh,
it
okay.
right here.
we are surrounded by technology, and a calendar is the difficult
right?
part.
I know. Well, I'm not going to buy a paper calendar like a pleb. What will
Yeah.
be the point of that?
Especially
You
when it
throw
won't
those
update
out?
itself. Dang it.
Exactly. Get some post-it notes, permanent marker, or
Uh-huh.
white out or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, round 71 is currently slated for the 16th of August.
Sounds about right.
7 p.m. CDT. Round 72, I believe, we also scheduled.
You know, real
Yes.
briefly, as we're talking about August, the week after, so the weekend of the 23rd, which happens to be my birthday, is Midwest Speed Fest. It is not going to be at the same hotel as SGDQ this time because something happened, so I've heard. Instead, it will be more internal to downtown Minneapolis, but that is a speedrunning marathon that you should watch, if not attend. That will be a thing over that entire weekend. They kind of do their own little shindig alongside 2DCon, and that'll be happening the week after our next radio show.
Hooray! More Midwest representation.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Everybody likes it because the Midwest is awesome. And if you disagree,
That's fair.
it's fair. You are entitled to your opinion.
I mean, I figured there's a reason why when they do stuff in the Midwest, it's not during the winter time, which is 8 months out of the year.
true. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's good ideas all around. I mean, we kind of do ours on the cusp of winter almost.
Yeah.
Sometimes if it's a real bad year, it'll be wintry.
If it's
In late
ever
October.
snowing in October, it's not even late October. It's the first weekend.
No, I mean if the snow usually comes.
Oh,
usually
well,
it's been late October in my
Yeah.
experience growing up
Yep.
in this general region.
I usually figure if it's snowing by Halloween, we're cursed.
Yeah, it's not great.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Although it didn't snow until like mid-December last year.
And then we got fucked.
And then we got a lot
it was
of
just
it.
it was just
not
cold,
good
but we didn't get snow.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
didn't stick around.
until mid-late December, and then it snowed and snowed and snowed and snowed and snowed and more.
Mhm.
More snow. It wasn't great.
And we broke a snowblower.
We did. Well,
But we have a new one now.
You
so
got
it's
a new
okay.
one.
we ended
It's
up
fine.
like ripping the cord on it.
Oops.
Yeah.
Like
I like
yeah.
how we received it on the last major snowfall, and then we couldn't use it because we got it after we finished removing snow for the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been sitting new in our garage.
Well, I mean, you don't have. There's no gas in it. There's no oil, so you don't have
That's
to worry
true.
about any of that
Yeah,
crap.
absolutely.
So
No, you're not wrong.
that's why I like it, because there's no maintenance.
Yep.
It's like I don't want to deal with that shit. I don't care if it's small and tiny, and if I got to make 2 passes with it. I don't want to deal with gas.
Yep,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
Less
Lame.
things to blow up.
Right. Although explosions can be cool sometimes.
Yeah.
Very pretty
Yeah.
and warm.
I can imagine the warm being useful to melt things.
Right?
However, preferably not in my garage.
Right? Yes.
They're a
also,
blast.
Also good. Anyways, round 72 we have scheduled for September the 13th, 17th
Sounds-
CDT.
Sounds good.
And I don't know that we scheduled one for October. We did not, which is fine because that will be like the week and a half after Super Stigma Slam 2019.
Mhm.
So if we really wanted to do an actual post-mortem, we
That
would
would be
probably
it.
make it the 11th.
Yeah, that you might be right about. In fact, I'm a pencil it in. We can change it if we need to.
If we need to, it's either going to
Yep.
be the 11th or the 18th. But if we wanted to have the post-mortem episode, that would be the best time to do it.
Round 73 tentatively scheduled for the 11th of October.
Neat.
And we won't go any further than that because honestly, scheduling out more than 3 is
Not a good thing.
kind of fruitless.
Yeah.
So we'll leave it there.
I will briefly whore out our Super Stigma Slam because submissions are open.
They are.
So-
They have been open for a week.
That's true.
And they will be open until
The
when did I
3rd
say
of
the
August,
3rd?
I think.
Yeah, the Saturday, the 3rd of August is when submissions will close.
Neat. So, Super Stigma Slam is our now second annual charity marathon that will take place between the 4th and the 6th of October. It benefits Take This. Their website is takethis.org. They provide mental health resources, often themed around gaming,
Mhm.
and they have quiet/mental health recovery rooms for major events like PAX and things like that. So,
Mhm.
real neat charity. We're very happy to be benefiting them once again. If you are interested in submitting, this is an in-person marathon in Madison, Wisconsin, or thereabouts. Go to submit.superstigmaslam.com and go ahead and fill out forms and link your Twitch/Discord and do the thing.
Mhm.
We're accepting up to 3 submissions per user this time and looking forward to hosting your content.
Oh yeah.
Yay.
It's going to be a good time. There are instructions right on that page. Otherwise, just join our Discord, discord.zerohour-productions.net, and ask us any questions you might have about the event, about the submission process. We do have something slightly better than a Google form this time around.
Yes, we are.
yeah.
We'll say piloting marathons.io, and it looks infinitely better than a Google form already.
Yes, and it was
So-
much easier to set up, aka we did no setup for it.
Right, because we are beta testing. Ergo, they are throwing resources at us.
Correct.
Which is real great.
Yeah, and it's real good for us to kind of get engaged with that. Very quick. The setup was like literally pinging a couple folks and answering a couple questions. They're like, "Here you go." I'm like, "All right, cool, thanks."
Yeah.
we'll let you know how it goes.
Yep. Looking real
Um,
forward to parsing through that because it actually looks like it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
It's either deny or accept.
and then I believe there's also some scheduling help with it as well. So
True, yeah, because
Heck yeah.
my super jank scheduling methodology of let's make a spreadsheet with half-hour increments and make everything fit to it.
Hey, it worked.
It did.
It worked.
I'm just happy to
Listen,
move away from it.
Yeah, it wasn't great, but it worked. And it's serviceable.
It did the job.
Right, and that's why we improve. That's why we iterate.
Yes.
All right, title
indeed.
drop.
Ah.
Okay, well, around the world then, we've talked about Pokemon Go and Niantic a lot in the past.
Yeah,
We sure have.
Yep. So Niantic, the devs behind Pokemon Go and also Ingress and some of the other AR more pigs, I guess.
Yeah.
Sort of, you could call it.
Augmented reality massively multiplayer online RPG.
And now you're iterating on it again. Good job.
Yeah, I know, right? Right? You got
Force strength.
Niantic is suing a hacker group entitled Global Plus Plus over altered versions of Pokemon Go and Ingress, citing copyright infringement and harm to their business. Which, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. Especially if said altered programs allow players to cheat. That would be very harmful to the ecosystem at large for that game.
Looking at you, Lap. Looking at you.
Oh, womp womp. Like there's been stuff in the news about spoofing GPS signals and stuff like that to do that sort of thing too. But this is like an actual modified program binary for this, so it goes a bit further beyond. This is my own device that I'm doing crap to. I'm actually now
I'm
impacting...
facilitating other people to be able to crap all over the experience of other players.
So griefing, trolling, and generally getting ahead without doing work, and that sort of stuff.
I mean, they did the work, just not the the kind
just
of work
not the approved sort of work. For the Pokemon Goes.
I believe you need to refresh chat because chat's happening.
Oh,
You're
is
just
it
not
happening?
seeing it.
No, I am not seeing
yeah.
anything. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're missing the good jollies that we're having.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were just calling Lap out just in.
Oh no,
blue.
I absolutely was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I gave the
Alright.
judge face, which is real fun to use.
both things are happening.
Listen here. That was the
Alright.
best week ever. Me gives judge face.
Yeah.
Very
Don't
good.
give me that face. I see that.
Very good.
And of course I get the eyes.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm of two minds about Niantic, quote unquote, suing a hacker group. But then again, it's like this sounds legit on the face of things to me. But
I mean, it targets their business model.
it does.
Yeah.
It does. It's doing what I perceive as a layperson and not familiar or invested in that game at all as potentially doing harm to other folks playing the game,
Yeah.
which I don't approve of. So fuck you, Global Plus Plus, I guess.
Yeah.
And also on the topic of fuck you, G2A. We've talked about G2A before.
Fuck G2A.
We have.
Yeah, fuck G2A yet again.
Absolutely.
Big surprise.
Yeah, right? Because they were caught trying to buy quote unquote unsponsored and undisclosed promotional posts on various news sites for self-written unbiased articles. When they were rightfully called out, they blamed those communications on a rogue employee.
Yeah.
Fuck you, G2A.
And everyone is all like, guys, you're digging yourselves a hole. And
Huge
G2A is all
hole.
like, do you have a bigger shovel?
Yeah, just hold my beer. I'm gonna go get a backhoe or something, and start really digging. Like, okay,
Yeah,
you know,
just
keep shooting yourselves in the. How many feet you got? Because you're shooting yourself in all of them.
They must be like super confident that like none of this bad
boy.
press is going to hurt them.
Right? I don't.
And I really hope that it just absolutely tanks.
Glad I didn't just spout that response off. Hi.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello, Ken.
Yeah.
Good evening, Ken.
Nice foot.
Oh my goodness. So fuck G2A. Just
Yeah, fuck
straight
G2A.
up fuck them. If you work for G2A, please quit and go somewhere better.
You know, there was a popular
Please.
tweet floating around from a developer who had released a game on Steam who, like G2A was releasing some of their keys. And they were urging people, I don't remember who this was, but they were urging people like, if you want to buy our game, that's awesome. If you are going to buy from G2A, pirate our stuff instead.
Yep. I definitely remember that making the rounds as well. And I
Yeah.
think there's more of those very
Yeah.
similar sentiments now floating around because of this latest G2A
Yeah.
garbage. So that's funny.
Yep.
That to me, that's very funny and also very sad that this has come about, but also very funny.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
fuck you, G2A.
Yeah, fuck you, G2A.
That's about the long and short of it. And that's all the two items that I got. There really wasn't a whole lot that caught my eye, despite there usually being dozens upon dozens, and I have to stop writing shit down.
I am very happy and proud that you used your brief platform to say fuck G2A.
Hell yeah, I
Yeah.
will absolutely use my tiny ass platform to say fuck you, G2A. I might even use it next month just because.
I mean, you can. There's nothing stopping you.
I'm gonna make a note for next month's notes then.
There you go.
Yep.
We're just
Fuck
gonna
G2A.
earmark this one for next time.
Yep.
Yep.
We're just gonna start, like sessions like almost prayer like, and we'll just include fuck G2A,
Right.
and then like we can just add or remove names as we see fit.
Round 71 brought to you by Fuck,
Fuck
G2A.
G2A.
You
And
say,
viewers like you.
hmm.
Uh-oh, you have an idea.
Oh, I'll just have to drop that one later when people aren't expecting it. It's fine. Don't worry
Very
about
good.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not worried.
it. All right, good. Moving on with other topics throughout the world. As of 5 days ago on the 7th of July, which is a real interesting date to release technology, by the way, as that was a Sunday.
7-7.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. The 7-nanometer process,
Yeah.
so on and so forth by TSMC.
Fair.
7th of July, AMD released their Zen 2 architecture to the world, which is big. The Ryzen 3000 series processors, including APUs, which of course build in some graphics with the Navi architecture that was also released on the 7th. Yeah, it's making big waves, and Intel can eat a dick. So, the X570 chipset with the first consumer viable PCI Express 4 specification available, it's pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of places sold out on motherboards and processors and have been that way since release.
Which is
And
pretty
I'm
wild because, like,
yeah.
there have been like just dozens and dozens already of like X570 models.
Yep.
Among the different manufacturers.
Oh,
And they
yes.
just can't seem to keep these things stocked.
And there are
Good sign.
backwards compatibility with a lot of the other earlier chipsets and board revisions and whatnot. However, there's a compatibility matrix that you might want to see before dropping a Ryzen 3000 series
Mhm.
processor into a board you already own. Because there were a few different chipsets that worked with each generation, B450 being the budget
Mm-hmm.
chipset for last gen, etc. Some boards have the appropriate VRM to handle the higher load power-wise of the 3000 series processors and such, but some don't. So do your research before just dropping one in. But like the last few times now, AM4 is the socket type for the Ryzen 3000 processors. We had Zen Plus, and now Zen 2, so we're on the third release of AM4. That same socket will be used next year as well, but supposedly that is the last one that will use AM4 before going to a new one.
Good. I am glad I am now aware of that fact.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because
So-
I was thinking about, I'm like, AM4 is getting a little long in the tooth now.
Yeah.
But
I-
2020 is going to be the last year. Supposedly, similarly with the Epic and Threadripper line using the TR4 / I think it's SR4 socket, which is actually pin compatible, but SR4 has, let's see here,
The heck
octo
is-
channel RAM. I want to say it is.
What's SR for?
So it's the Epic chipset / socket.
okay.
Even though it's the same pin compatibility, it has different stuff.
Threadripper. Oh, are they pulling an Intel where they could have used the same pin count and layout, but they didn't for some reason?
Well, they
and-
did, but it has different receivers on the motherboard side so that it can
Yeah, okay,
add
yeah.
another 4 channels of RAM and stuff like that.
Huh,
Because
interesting.
I believe, I could be wrong, Epic has double the channels of RAM than Threadripper, so it would be octo channel.
Dang.
But
Octo Channel Traveler.
yeah, could be wrong. And more PCI Express lanes and all that other stuff.
Right,
But
right.
Threadripper, though, TR4, it still hasn't been announced for this year, but we were told several times now to expect things in the near future. I decided instead of waiting that I was going to go in with AM4 and eventually a 3950X, which will be released in September. It is the only processor in the 3000 series that hasn't been released yet. So that will have 16 cores and 32 threads. Which is what I have
Yummy.
now.
Yeah,
Except
that's-
it's going to draw far less power, be faster, have a much better IMC built in, which is integrated memory controller, and also have a base and boost clock that is well above what my TR2950X can do now, at the cost of having 2 fewer channels of RAM, so I go down to dual channel instead of quad, and fewer PCI Express lanes, which means I'm going to have to run my GPU at X8, which actually does shave off about 3% of performance with the RTX 2080 Ti. Womp womp.
I think you'll survive.
I will. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm sitting on everything I need, which is real interesting, as I had mentioned that a lot of things are out of stock. I already have everything I need to build my new PC with the exception of the CPU, because it hasn't been released yet. I was able to find a motherboard rather easily. Interesting, when every other website sold out, I bought mine from Best Buy. That
That's what I
reaction
have to
was
say
well
about
deserved.
Excuse me, that snuck up on me.
Best Buy, interesting place to get any modern hardware at a reasonable price, but it was actually the retail price and they had it in stock with free 2-day shipping, and I said, I'm probably never going to see this again until September. I'm going to buy it. There you
Excuse
go.
me.
Guess
Goodness.
who's-
tight.
Oh, thank you.
So I have ready to go the new motherboard, the Crosshair 8 Hero by Asus, as I really love all of their other boards for Threadripper and the Crosshair 7 Hero that we had for the now ZHP gaming PC that we use for our marathons. So lots to love. Really looking forward to how the new Navi cards perform.
Yeah, there's a number of reviews out for those already.
Why don't we just segue into that news topic of yours? Because I'm
Yeah.
sure you wanted to talk about that.
CPUs to
Yeah.
GPUs.
Yep.
So, I mean, AMD also released the Radeon RX 5700 and 5700 XT.
Reference cards.
Yep, reference cards. So they're not like like board partners or anything
Gaming.
like that.
Those are coming in
OC,
September.
Yep.
Super OC, FTW. Oh wait, sorry, that's EVGA's
Yeah.
NVIDIA lines.
So the huge plus is at its price point, it definitely punches its weight. It's like dollar for dollar directly competitive with NVIDIA's new offerings, even as they just put out the super cards.
You're going to talk about the discount too, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But on the other hand, people are talking about like, well, the card gets kind of hot with the existing blower that's on it.
Stop using blowers.
I know. I kind of wish that they would have learned that already. Like,
I thought blowers were just stuff that pushed it out of the case instead of venting into the case. Is that not?
well, it's
true?
a special kind of like fan. It's like a fan shape, and there's a reason why they have to close off the card. Like it's just kind of like a closed air channel. And that's because like it's blowing it through it kind of like a specific air path. But they tend to be noisier and not as efficient as like the giant fans that you see
And
even
it
on the
only has a
reference NVIDIA
single
cards.
fan.
Yeah, that's the differences
Yeah.
that I've been seeing.
They also
most.
only ever put
is what it sounds like. So
Yeah.
I've been told.
they only ever put a single blower on these kinds of cards. Like I think NVIDIA tried to do blowers for a bit and it wasn't
They
really a good
backed
time
off.
for anyone. Yeah.
Mhm.
So with the RTX line of cards, they finally had fan designs.
yeah.
Whereas the Founders Edition cards for the 9 series and below use blowers.
Yep.
Or excuse me, the 10 series and below. My bad.
Yeah, those were noisy and not great. So
Right.
But yeah, so just like days. How many days was it before the release that they
Like
did the
2.
price drop? Yeah, they're like, oh, by the way, we're dropping the price on like both the cards. It was
$50.
yeah, $50 on both models.
So now the base 5700 is $350,
Yeah, $349.
and then the XT model is $50 more. And they also
Mhm.
have a 50th anniversary edition, which has really nothing different outside of aesthetics. I'm
It
pretty
has
sure.
a higher boost, I think.
Does it?
Yeah,
Okay.
but I mean, like it's there isn't. It's not a significant bump up that anyone would really want to spring forward unless
Sure.
they're like hardcore. I want a collector's edition item. So.
Which
It's so silly.
I mean,
It's-
it bears the signature of the current CEO, Lisa Su, etc.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
a black and gold design.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
it's probably pretty.
I mean, to be fair, they also did the same thing with the 2700X.
Yeah,
They
did.
released an anniversary edition of that
Really?
CPU
Oh, boy.
with the same specs as the normal one.
Yeah, and ended up being more expensive, but
Well, I mean,
people
'cause
want to
it's the-
collect them. So.
Yeah.
I suppose if I'm gonna collect like a CPU thing, I'll get a wafer
Yeah.
of CPU stuff because at least that's like pretty to look at and
Right.
non-functional.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting that since Lisa has become the CEO, that she's kind of pulled the same kind of weight that John Legere did with T-Mobile, whereas she led something interesting in the market segment that she was in, and now AMD rather is in the news almost constantly, and they're making some pretty good headway with popularity once again.
Mm-hmm.
Over the last 2 years, they've pretty much stayed consistently at the top of CPU sales charts for Amazon and Newegg. The GPUs, now that they're starting to come into being useful rivals to NVIDIA's offerings, are starting to climb again.
Mm-hmm.
Dollar for dollar, they're certainly probably the best option for price for performance on the GPU side now that the Navi architecture's out.
Yep.
They really need to start being able to punch up to or above the 2080 Ti.
Yeah, the best that they've really been able to do at a decent price is mid-range cards,
Right.
especially with the release of the 5700, which is all like they're really establishing their place in mid-range, especially with that release.
Yep.
Even
XT.
entirely despite the 2060 and 2070 Super coming out already.
Yeah, the XT supposedly punches just above the 2700 Super. Or 2070 Super, excuse me.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. It is certainly less expensive.
They better have good drivers then.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's my only
Fine wine.
I
Yeah.
love I love what AMD is doing
Uh-huh.
with this. I love that they're now getting performance competitive with NVIDIA.
Uh-huh.
I do not like their drivers.
No,
That
no
is
one does.
a big
Yeah, no one does.
big
It's-
turnoff.
Yeah, that's been a thing that's plagued them for a really long time.
Mhm.
And,
Uh-huh.
and there's kind of like
Mhm.
it's almost a meme now where people are kind of calling it like fine wine technology, where like over time AMD cards that were released at the same time as like their NVIDIA counterparts end up being better, but it takes that long
Yeah.
for the drivers to mature,
Yeah.
to support them.
Yeah.
And
They deserve the credit for that.
yeah,
They
they
sure
absolutely do. So I don't know. Maybe their Radeon software will get better. I'm really hoping that like with the boost from their CPUs, with the ability to compete with their GPUs, that they can put some more resources behind that. So
Can I say the really obvious pun?
go
Sure.
for it.
Maybe all this newfound popularity will be the catalyst for change.
Perhaps, but Catalyst sucks.
They don't,
You're not wrong.
Do they even call it Catalyst anymore? I thought it's
Yeah.
Radeon now.
It's like Catalyst Control Center. Isn't it still Catalyst
Yeah.
Control Center for
Yeah.
their
Okay.
dumb bullshit? Yeah. okay.
Yeah.
Nah, it
Mm.
sucks.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
great. I mean, I will say that thank you, AMD, for continuing ATI's presence in open source stuff.
Yeah.
Having a very robust open source driver is
Yeah.
kind of great.
It's not terrible.
Yeah.
It's not terrible. Their proprietary binary blobs are not much better than the Windows counterparts, at least in Linux land. So
Mhm.
get better at that, please. But yeah, their drivers in general are shit.
Yep.
So
And then
work on
there's an additional feature that's a bit less talked about, but a bit more surprising. This is kind of a success that I didn't see coming. There's like a sharpness filter or upscaling filter or something like that that they've applied that is effectively supposed to like achieve the same sort of thing as like was it DLSS in NVIDIA.
Okay.
Deep learning super sampling.
Yeah,
Which
and,
uses the tensor cores and such.
Right. Yeah.
The results people are getting, the reviewers anyway, are really surprisingly good.
Better than TLSS
Yeah, and
by a
it's
fair margin.
Yep, and it's even a bigger surprise that like the performance drop just returning it on is like it's negligible. Like the difference ends up being like 2%.
Yep.
So yeah, that is really outstanding. Now all they've got to do is I guess maybe it's not as important right now, but I think in the coming years maybe it will be, especially with the new games coming out on the horizon. The ray tracing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
They've decided to use and support the open DirectX ray tracing standard
Interesting.
rather than NVIDIA's proprietary
Yeah.
stuff.
that's because they've also had a bigger hand in writing it.
Well, I mean, when you have technology partners like that and they actually utilize it,
Yeah.
it's probably for the best.
Good.
So it's all
Yeah.
done
Good.
in software instead of dedicated hardware and achieves similar, if not better, results.
So the next couple years are going to be I really have no idea what the next couple years are going to look like GPU wise.
It's going to be real interesting.
With
Yeah.
Intel stuff coming in 2020.
Oh yeah,
and-
Intel's discrete graphics. I totally
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't hold up much hope for it, but it's good.
Yeah,
it's
I
good
would
that it's
expect
coming.
we'll see that in a lot of laptops.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Clearly, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably won't be great, but
I mean,
it'll be there.
Even
If it is, I'm going to be pleasantly
Yeah,
surprised.
hey, like,
even if
prove us
Intel
wrong, please.
goes back to like dominating the mobile graphics chipset, like they'll probably just be fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a market segment that they've pretty much been able to monopolize as far as like CPUs.
Mm-hmm.
So if they can do it with GPUs as well, I mean that's basically a win top to bottom for laptops for Intel.
I mean, that's basically them just owning the entire chipset
Pretty
at that
much,
point.
yeah.
So, I mean, if it works out and it's better performance and they can offer better pricing because it's all the first party vendor that's making the hardware, then
Right.
who knows?
Mhm. Yeah.
Good to move on.
RTX
yeah.
Supers?
You're-
Is that
Oh,
one of
yeah,
yours, or we
I
just
mean, I
kinda-
didn't even bother
Yeah.
putting it in there because I thought we already talked about it. But
Well, we kind of made.
I think they announced
veiled
it, but I mean
references to
they're
it.
like
60,
they're
70,
available
and
now, right?
80 all have supermodels.
correct. 60 and 70 are out now. 80 will be released later.
And they are all the same price as their former counterparts of the 60, 70, and 80s, yes?
Yep.
And the older cards are a little cheaper, I want to say.
I'm
You might
not
be able to
confident.
find
I
it.
want to say the 60 and 70 released slightly below the
Okay.
previous ones, but I
Yeah.
am not confident
I
in
could
that
be wrong.
either.
I mean,
So-
that was information from a month back now.
Yeah.
so-
Reviewers overall are putting the 2060 Super just shy of the 2070, and the 2070 Super just shy of the 2080.
2080, right? And the 2080 Super, we don't know because it hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
So,
But it's not going to topple the 2080 Ti.
no, certainly not. Not that $1,000.
It's probably going to sit in between, if anything.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, yeah, given the other ones.
yep.
Neat. We good?
Did you have any other news items?
I mean, I
I
did.
kind of butted in. So
No, that's
I
fine.
mean, we kind of moved a little bit back and forth. That's all right.
Speaking of other NVIDIA-like news, I suppose, because we're talking about Tegra stuff now, the
Right.
Nintendo Switch Lite has been announced for a September
Oh,
release,
yeah.
including several bundles, one of which is Pokemon stuff. It has an actual D-pad, no removable Joy-Cons, and no ability to connect to a TV. No HD rumble or anything like that, too.
Mhm.
However, it fits the same niche market as, we'll say, a 2DS.
yeah, there was some mixed feelings about the Joy-Cons you couldn't detach because that's going to have implications for some titles.
Right. On top of if something with that goes wrong,
Scissor
Yeah.
clips, Chuck.
Yeah.
you now have to get a welding license to fix it.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah, all the
But-
same, it's also going to be like a really, I mean, relatively, I should say, inexpensive way to get into Switch gaming.
Mhm.
Which, I mean, if you think about it, it's already pretty inexpensive compared to, other offerings for like consoles and whatnot. But
Right. Yeah, but it puts it firmly in the hey, this is a mobile console camp rather
Yep.
than hey, this is a sit-down console camp
Mhm.
versus oh, hey, I can do both with the old first-gen Switch. So, I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it. Purely because I've only had a Switch for like 3 months, so and I don't play it mobile ever.
yeah,
Like
I
it sits
mean,
in the dock and I sit on my couch.
yeah,
Yep.
like I don't
Like a
have
big
any
boy.
opportunity to play it on the go because I'm always, like when I'm going, I'm the one driving.
Right.
And you
right.
also don't use Nintendo controllers with it, correct?
I do. The only
Well, you use the
game-
GameCube
I
controller.
use the GameCube for Smash.
But I thought you ended up getting
and
an Xbox adapter for it.
I did not. That is on my list to
Ah, okay.
investigate.
My
And
bad.
if it works, fucking hell yeah.
Yeah.
I have something for you, actually.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, is it that? Yeah. That,
Yeah,
that
it's a
adapter?
Mayflash device.
Yeah.
You can plug it
Hmm.
into a Switch dock, and if you want to use a wired controller, you literally plug the USB cable into the other side of the dongle, or it can pair wirelessly.
with
So,
a whole bunch of
I
stuff.
forgot to bring it, otherwise I would have let you borrow it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
Cool.
because anything with a significantly better D-pad would be totally okay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the general fuckery of using a Microsoft product and a Nintendo product to maybe play a Sony game.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my god,
It's
Why
just
not?
fun.
just put the SNES D-pad on there and everyone will be
Right?
happy.
Yeah.
I mean, if you do the tape fix. But
yeah, I mean,
I had to
you
do
know.
the tape fix with my Switch Pro controller too, and it's still not great.
Yeah.
But I would almost rather use a DualShock 4 because it has like the discrete buttons for the D-pad and be like, yeah, fuck with me now, jerks. But
But then the Switch has the discrete buttons for the D-pad. Nobody likes those.
yeah, because they're
apparently.
fucking tiny.
They're tiny and they're very stiff. I've noticed.
the
so-
stiffness
I mean,
is
I've
my
got
big issue.
Big thumbs.
Right. It does
Yeah.
get a
Like, I
little
don't-
bit sore when you're doing the
I
little...
don't mind rolling my thumb around, on a D-pad, but like
Yeah, but when you have
it's-
to put in like 3,000 kilojoules of force to make it actuate, it's
at that point
a bit
it's
of a
all like
problem.
that's a great way to get
Gotta
thumb
get those
fatigue.
gains.
I don't know if that's an actual measurement. Please
No.
don't at me.
Kilojoules, yeah.
I mean, the joule is a measure of force,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's the right measure.
I mean, energy specifically.
right,
Yeah.
right. Mm.
Anyhow,
Newtons, I should probably have used.
Yeah,
So-
that sounds.
apparently Nintendo is also updating the normal Switch hardware with updated CPU/SoC stuff. Apparently it's not going to make much of a difference, but I'm guessing one, newer hardware is probably actually cheaper to get because
Mhm.
it's going to be in current production.
Mm-hmm.
And two, let's get rid of all of those hardware hacks that people have been able to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also got to consider, like, as they're coming out with, revisions and stuff on a CPU, there's also the likelihood that, like, either they're able to push the clocks a little bit more or reduce power consumption, that sort of thing, reduce package size. There's a number of things that you can do that are beneficial that, like, the end user's probably not going to notice much.
Right. Nintendo has new things coming. There you go. Cuphead is getting a Netflix animated TV series.
Yeah.
Who didn't see that coming?
I honestly didn't, but
The game
Cool.
was all about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
it's all about
it
the
really
cool
lends itself.
animation.
to that.
so there you go. I'm guessing their artist/art director for that game is swimming in cash now.
Yeah.
There
Well,
you go.
The game sold very well.
Well, it
so
did.
I hope so.
But I mean, to sell
For
off
all
all
the
of
effort.
the
If
it's-
specific art rights,
Yeah, but you also
Or
got to
license
think,
it.
like, if it's a deal with the company, that makes movies or TV shows, like, the actual people doing the work are probably not going to get very much.
Probably not. No, of course
But
not. Maybe it's the
knows?
same people doing the Sonic stuff.
Yeah.
that's happening. And my last news item: Microsoft's social media team in Germany apparently accidentally posted that the FF7 remake was going to be coming to the Xbox.
Oof.
They've retracted that tweet, and Square went on record saying that the PS4 is the only target platform for the game. End of discussion.
Too late.
Yeah.
Too late. You can't unring that bell.
So, yeah. We know it's eventually coming to PC because what hasn't? And it's also probably coming to Xbox One because what hasn't?
Yeah.
So, at this point, why bother? Just saying, you know
Just
what's going to
do it.
happen.
Like, why?
Mhm.
Why?
Anything further from you?
Oh yes, I have a couple things. I'll keep these brief. So we mentioned Switch stuff. Super Mario Maker 2 has landed, and
Right.
yeah, that's it is pretty much like Super Mario Maker 1, but more of everything.
Mhm.
It's
very extra.
yeah, it is incredibly extra. I haven't played it myself, but we've caught some streams and holy cow, just
People like it.
yeah, it's
People really do.
it's been a pretty big hit, so which I'm really glad to see. And then let's see, moving away from that, Steam is going to introduce a new way to recommend new games for players. Currently, it's kind of like a mishmash of like tags and lists, and aggregate review scores and this and that. They're gonna introduce a machine learning algorithm that's gonna replace all of that, in hopes of like better engaging the players and selling them more games, obviously. So there's that.
Good luck. I've already got more games than I'll ever be able to play.
Yeah, I
in my
know.
life.
Right? Like my library is
It's too big.
Thank you, Humble. I
Yeah.
love you, but
Yeah.
holy cow, that's way more than I'll ever get to play.
Hello, EI.
Yep. EA
Fuck you.
your
The
favorite
wrong
company, right?
Two-vowel combination of E and
Right.
something
Yeah,
else.
Right.
They had to defend their loot box mechanism in front of a UK
Oh.
parliamentary panel.
Okay, sorry. Let me state more emphatically. Fuck you, EA.
Oh my god.
Are
Just-
you surprised?
No, I am
absolute-
not.
Yeah, just
absolutely not.
But I know what you're going to talk about, so I had to make a pun. Ha!
Absolutely, just dead ass calls them surprise mechanics,
Mm-hmm.
comparing them to like going to
Oh.
Target
Oh
and
no.
getting quote Kinder eggs or Hatchimals or LOL surprise,
Which are illegal in the U.S., by the way.
Well, the good kind.
Kinder
they do
eggs
sell
are.
the
right.
because they do sell Kinder eggs
they
without
sure
the fun
do.
toys that kids can choke on.
Ooh.
Yeah. And they also sell. Forget it. Let's go on.
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just but I'm just gonna offer the biggest oof possible for that situation. I really, really hope that the UK like parliamentary panel just throws the book at them. Just
please.
Can we,
We-
get
we
more
need to get loot
Angela
boxes.
Merkel staring at people with deadpan?
we need to get loot boxes banned in more places. Like I
Yeah.
swear,
Yeah. Yeah.
it is probably the worst epidemic to hit the gaming.
Holy shit.
I
the gaming
I don't know if
community.
that was a mistake, but calling it an epidemic was really funny.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That
you
was
know?
actually really good.
I mean, you said it.
Yeah, I didn't say epic. I said epidemic.
Oof.
But you know what? I'll keep the pun. That's
Mm.
great. Yeah, fuck
Oh,
you, EA.
yeah. Oh, EA. Come on. I just cannot believe surprise mechanics. How? Who writes this shit? Who comes up with that and it
Like-
sails through as an approved
like
thing to say?
like your devoted fans might just eat this shit right
Oh,
up,
my
but like
goodness.
I'm really hoping
Phew.
that like, you know, legal just you just get bent, like seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. On a much better note, SGDQ happened.
Yay!
Yeah.
They raised $3 million.
They
Yay!
did.
Nice.
Right at the last moments,
Fucking
they
sick.
pushed for 3 mil and they got it. Like, holy cow! I don't remember how much they raised in just like the last day alone, but it was a significant portion of the total.
Oh, well, as it usually is,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
ending with Chrono Trigger is we had GDQ staff in our hotel room watching, saying, we need to get this much by this time, or it won't happen. Yeah, you're not wrong.
So yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Mhm.
It's always a good time to go. There's a lot of stuff that goes on there that's not really seen on the stream itself. It would have been really cool to stream like some of the panels and stuff. I went to go see the submission process panel, which was kind of interesting.
Do they record
selection.
those?
I think they're going to provide them on like podcast form or something.
Okay.
I saw somebody with the camera, but I don't know if that was like actual GDQ recording it or if it
Right,
was
right,
someone
right.
recording it for themselves or to put on YouTube or
I
something.
kind of hope they record them
Yeah.
at the very least for posterity,
Oh,
even if
yeah,
they're not
for
going to
sure.
release them in
Yeah.
like 3, 4, 6 months, whatever.
Yep. So yeah, learned some things.
The selection committee process.
Yeah.
I'm sure very informative.
Yeah.
I didn't go.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had something
he
else
didn't.
going on, but Saxxon went in my place, and it was like, good enough. Now you can be the selection
Yep.
committee.
Yep.
Sucker.
You need more than one person to form a committee. I think.
We found that out.
Yep. So that was pretty fun. Met up with some great people, played some rhythm games.
As you do.
Yeah.
As one does.
Yes. Yeah, and that's pretty much the gist of it. I think that's going to be all the news I got.
Toonskis?
Toonskis?
Toonskis.
Bonus level 1?
All
All
right, we begin with Our Destiny by Forest Elves from Final Fantasy IX.
And then a remix from Donkey Kong Country entitled Fearless by Eminator.
And then I got something real special for y'all. It is my remix from Deltarune titled Arcane Anticipation.
All right. I've been playing lots of games. I don't know about you
Yeah.
two.
Well, yeah.
Considering
I've
all
kind
the
of been playing,
all
like,
the
I included
travel.
the stuff that I did at GDQ, but
right.
I've also been practicing some DOS games, trying to figure out what I want to submit for Super Stigma Slam. So I'm probably going to submit at least one, if not, 2 or 3. So
3.
Maximum.
I know
of 3.
you. Okay.
Maximum.
They're
of
all
3.
going to be like DOS games or early Windows games.
That's
I
cool.
kind of figured you'd
You-
have no problem, and
You hardly
nobody else
ever
is
see those
Yeah.
anywhere else, so why the
Plus,
F not?
you have the hardware to provide.
I do, and
Also
like
true.
nobody else is gonna submit any of the stuff that I'm going to. So like no matter what I choose, it's gonna be good.
That's true. Although I would
Yeah.
consider submitting something super old like Sopwith or
Yeah.
Zaxxon or what's the other one
I-
I'm thinking of?
If I'm doing that, I'd either obtain
see
an
what I'm
arcade
thinking.
board or do it on the Commodore 64, which I don't currently have a working system.
Yeah, we gotta figure that out
We
with
do.
our
Flight
graveyard.
Flightmare is the one I'm thinking of.
Okay, I've never
Oh,
played.
That's a hard game. I
Mm.
don't know if I could ever practice up
Ooh.
enough to get good at it.
I would submit Zone 66 if I was any good at it. That
Mm.
game is hard as balls.
Wow. Yeah, that would be
That's also like
a strong play.
yeah, that to be able to do all the maps is probably also like 2 to 3 hours at least.
Well, I mean, hey, we
Yeah,
got time.
I'm not that good at that game yet, so probably not. Maybe in the future when I get good at it, I'll have to stream my practice.
Ye gods. Well, anyways, so who wishes to go first?
I might as well.
All right, good volunteer.
Given that my game list is probably the shortest, but is no, well, it's no short list, I should say. So I played Tetris the Grandmaster with Tina when she visited, and averaged about S3 as I usually do. I
Mhm.
didn't really do too spectacularly for not having played much before that, but hey, Oh, let's see here. While at SGDQ, I played Tetris the Absolute, the Grandmaster 2 Plus, also known as TAP. And its grading system is
different.
quite. I think my best grade was 3.
Yeah, it is also like significantly harder than the first installment, isn't it?
I mean, it's
Oh.
graded differently. It also has different modes that I refuse to play. So, at least until I'm better at the game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I had some issues trying to play Player 2, and by the time I finally got in Player 1, that was like, PMX was like, I want to take the board out. I'm like, it's fine. But I played it. It was fine. I gave other people people who were interested in learning more about gameplay mechanics and whatnot, information and like how to find a board, and I hope you know what you're getting yourself into, and etc. So that was fun.
This is what we call a gateway drug.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh my gosh, yeah, get started on any kind of retro hardware whatsoever, and then it's like freaking
So
Pringles.
this is a super gun. Oh my god, I didn't know those existed. Yeah.
Yeah, it sure does.
Yeah.
$500, please.
Oh, they're
It
not
all
bad.
starts with the
I
super
know the
gun.
super gun isn't, but
It all starts
It's
with the
everything you
super
plug
gun.
into it.
yeah.
Hey, I mean, if you ever want to do a group buy with me from Yahoo Auctions Japan at some point, we could probably arrange that, but it's going to be at least 2 years out for me. Anyhow, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 200cc was a thing. Surprisingly, wasn't too terrible.
Yeah.
Especially given that I played a light character, which made a lot of difference. Hey, there you go.
I did some of that on the projector as well, which that turned out okay.
That, yeah.
The latency is noticeable. But it's not like
They say it went down with the firmware update that
Oh.
cannot be user applied. It has a firmware update port.
Excuse?
Yeah, there's a 1.1 of the firmware for the projector, and apparently it's so involved that they need to remove hardware from the unit, flash it manually, and put it back in. Yeah. So as part of my projector RMA, I said, please get a new one out of stock, flash it for me, and ship it to me, and then I'll ship you mine. Yeah. So apparently that's a thing.
Wow.
Supposedly,
That's,
overall color, how do I say this? Color accuracy, blurriness, and input lag are impacted by the firmware update, which can only mean good things, one would think.
yeah,
So we'll
I mean
see.
beside the
welcome.
fact that we had the one blurry corner, like it was pretty good.
I will say 4K HDR looks nice.
Yeah.
When Best Buy had that 4K Blu-ray combo deal going on for less than $200, we ended up paying $150 for the player, a Logitech Harmony remote, and 3 4K Blu-rays. That was worth, surprisingly.
Does sound like a lot of
Yeah.
hardware for not much coin.
Yeah, like I'm never going to use that remote, but like the hardware's real good. And I started playing Ready Player One in 4K HDR, and HDR was definitely a thing.
That the whole like we watched about 5 or
like
10
5
minutes.
or 10 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, and like the whole 5 or 10 minutes we watched was like an LSD trip. Like that
They were
was
like,
just
whoa, what? Huh?
yeah.
Yeah, it was actually surprisingly good, but I'm looking forward to what 4K gaming can do with HDR. My only gripe with it is you have to lower the color depth. So instead of 444 RGB, you have to go 422 or 420, which, I mean, all Blu-rays are mastered in anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah.
But HDR in Windows is fucky. So we got a persistent green tint on everything in Windows when I turned HDR on. So I was like,
Strange.
we're turning that off. And Tina was like, just put it in YUV mode. And I'm like, no.
Why not?
Because it feels dirty.
Why? YUV has like it tends to be a better color space, especially for like media content.
Shrug. All I know is that it has less bits going through the wire, which makes me think lower fidelity. So, shrug. Maybe I'm just being a
numbers
pedant.
game.
I'm being a pedant.
It's a
So,
numbers game, man.
yeah, I know. But as soon as we get past HDMI 2.0 and actually move to something with higher than 18 gigabits bandwidth, I'm looking at you, DisplayPort. You are the king right now. We'll be able to afford such nicer things. But, moving on. Octopath. Well, that was a thing, and it continues to be a thing. I definitely did not finish the game during that one special weekend that I was playing with Blackbird. But, there's plenty of it to do yet. That is a casual run that is now 70-plus hours in the making.
Mm-hmm.
I just finished Cyrus's Chapter 4, which was surprisingly good. I have the rest of the characters to go through, and apparently I need to grind the unused people up to a respectable level for endgame content because someone spoiled it!
Boo!
Yeah.
Don't spoil shit. Come on.
So apparently at the end of the game, it's advisable to have everybody in fighting shape. Everybody.
Everybody.
Even
those you don't plan to directly use, because they'll be used anyways.
that was the spoiler.
Don't spoil the game.
Don't spoil games, you fuckers. Don't do it.
I've been doing my best in watching speedruns not to pay attention to anything for chapters 3 and 4 and beyond. I've intentionally not watched a specific category because it goes into post-game content. However, my big WAD donation at SG2Q was for the choose the character for the single story run that happened on Thursday. That was for Therion. And I had a punny donation, and I actually went back to the VOD and clipped it because I thought it was good.
Did Therion win?
Therion did win.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's who the players wanted to win, too.
Yay!
Initially, the voice actor for Darius, who is the Chapter 4 boss, spoilers, I guess, even though it kind of says the end game as you meet Therion, but anyway, the voice actor was there, and he was supposed to voice content at the end of the game that wasn't voiced over. Unfortunately, it looks like he was pulled off the stage right before the run. We don't know what's going on with that.
Yeah.
So,
Strange.
unfortunate, but Therion did win, and Alta Biscuit did the run, and
that was a thing.
it was amazing. There's an 8% steal, an optional 3% steal, a required 3% steal, and then other RNG that you had to deal with. Second try for the 8% steal. First try for the optional 3% steal.
Suck it, probability.
That's like he was just about to go into discussing more about the game, but he just lost his composure the moment that he got the item on the first try.
So in the route for Therion,
Hilarious.
this is before Chapter 3, where you have to enter the black market. There's two ways to get into the black market. You can steal a mask from someone right outside the black market, which is the 3% steal.
Okay.
Or you go back to the tavern and talk to the barkeep and get his garb. Well, he was going into the we never do this in runs. We have to go back to the bar. I got the mask. We're going in. Well, the luck didn't persist.
Oh,
Yeah, I
of
was
course it
kinda
doesn't.
hoping
The
it
required 3% was
Yeah.
try number 56.
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
That was brutal.
Yeah, that's a thing, because after you steal unsuccessfully so many times, you have to like pay to restore your reputation in town and things like that, and it drew on and on and on. But
yeah.
Probability.
Didn't get to the nice
cranky
number. I was
bitch.
kind of hoping, like, if your luck is going to be that bad, please let it be this bad.
Oh, wow.
yeah,
You
so
know, but,
it was
you
like
know.
less than a minute over estimate. It was a very good run.
It was-
I
was
highly
very
recommend going back and
entertaining.
watching it. It was extremely entertaining.
Yep.
Somebody clipped me going in the first row of the crowd when he got the first 3% pull,
Yeah.
because I was just flabbergasted. Like, I had a good moment there. I don't go like very often. It was real good. I made sure I was front and center for that run because
Oh, yeah.
it meant a lot.
Silly.
And as a result, I actually kind of got into talking with the speedrunning community for the game, and I ended up doing my first speedrun of that. I did the Tressa route, and it was like an hour 15 and change, which is a real bad time. But I also had someone telling me where to go, and I was trying to
GG.
parse the instructions in the guide, and I was like,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of missing content from this.
Mhm.
What the shit?
Did you submit it?
I didn't record it because I was in my hotel room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fair.
So I'm going to work with Eon perhaps this weekend to get my pedals set up and live split not shitty.
I want to do that too.
I'm
So I
looking
can
for a
also
pedal.
do splits for my DOS games.
I mean, that's fine.
So am I.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. It shows up in Windows or whatever your respective operating system is.
Just a
Actually, no, it only works in
USB thing.
Windows.
What?
Tina ended up getting an Arduino
Uh-huh.
that with a teensy or something, I don't know, maybe it's a teensy by itself, but translated into keystrokes and basically did this weird amalgamated keyboard macro for each push, and then bound it inside of X Windows to live split pass through to wine.
It doesn't show up as just like a generic USB device?
Apparently not.
Boo!
So
Fucking...
she made it appear as USB HID with the little thing.
Okay.
So then you can do whatever you want with it.
Maybe I'll just get one anyways. They're cheap.
Yeah.
$20.
Yeah.
So Eon is going to be messing with it for Linux at some point. So hey, there you go.
I guess I'll just get one anyways and see what I can whip up.
I'll send you some info. It's real cheap. It's a transcriptionist pedal.
Yeah,
That's
I
all
know.
it is.
I
So
looked at him the other day. It was
Yep.
like, why is this an impulse purchase territory? Stop.
yeah, pretty much. So
Damn it.
looking forward to that. I remade my layouts, as you may have seen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to include only the timer. I'm going to do window capture and only the timer portion of it. Because I don't care to show my splits.
Aw, come on.
Nope, not
Come
happening.
on, do it.
I'll upload them to splits.io,
Do it, you wimp.
but no, there's no space on the layout for it. So I'm just going to show the timer and call it good. But anyway, those with some help from MrBond will probably be appearing eventually. But Octopath, a good friend of mine, Belfic Gaming, made a really fucking baller layout for Octopath that I might be stealing because it looks really good.
Yeah, it looks outstanding.
So that might be a one-off game layout that I just throw in locally because it's pretty great. But that has area for a full set of splits and all that shit, but whatever. I don't care. Octopath. I am going to start with Tressa, probably move to Cyrus because I think he's still the best character in the game. His run is stupid, but because to get world record, you need to get a good proc on Bewildering Grace, you need to get at least one Kate, etc., which is low chances on both. So, yeah. It's
You're
really
not
great.
doing it for world record, are you?
I
Just doing it for
mean,
fun.
Who knows? At
I
some
don't know.
point, like if the time comes down enough, I might just be like, grumble, grumble, fine. I am going to finish my casual run on Switch because even with homebrew and somewhat compatible save files between Switch and PC, apparently,
Weird.
How do you transport them?
Not through the
Homebrew?
SD card slot,
Yeah.
obviously.
right, homebrew. So I don't really feel like hacking my Switch yet, unless there's a really compelling reason to, and this might push me over, but I'm going to finish my casual 100% whatever, all story route shit on Switch, I will be doing speed running on PC as it saves several minutes because of load times. And
Okay.
I'll also be able to play with whatever controller I want without having to
Weird.
do any weird hackery. So, or using a Mayflash adapter, etc. So that'll be coming up. That'll be content that's interspersed with Tetris and whatever RPG casual stuff I decide to do. I still intend on going back and finishing an offline run of FF6's Beyond Chaos Randomizer with Fuzzy when we're both not peopled out and we have time. That's going to be a thing at some point. Eventually, once I get through that and I feel a little more confident, I'm probably going to be playing those casually on stream as just a, well, this is something I can talk through and chat and whatever. So that'll be fun. And we've been playing Pathfinder still. My character is, for those of you who do not remember, a dwarven paladin who serves the god Mitra and is supposed to be lawful good.
Supposed to be.
Yeah.
However,
More neutral good.
okay.
I haven't quite hit chaotic yet, but we're getting there. But it's a really fun campaign. We are in a formerly underwater crypt that the lake dried up so that the crypt is now visible. So we went in.
Okay. Reverse Atlantis.
Yep. And we're about to get to the end boss for that. Our double session ended right before it because people needed to leave and we needed to drive home and all that other stuff. But not this weekend, but the weekend after. We'll be basically jumping right into that as soon as we feel we're prepared and have our spells and scrolls and stuff purchased from town, etc. So that'll be fun. We're going to be fighting a black dragon. Which...
Yeah, we'll have to see how well that
A
goes.
Red Eyes Black Dragon?
No.
Oh.
So apparently the chromatic dragons in Pathfinder lore are pretty much all evil. The metallic colored ones are not.
Okay.
So we'll see. Apparently this one really likes eating rotting flesh.
Good luck,
Yeah.
I guess.
It'll be fun. Yeah. Yeah. It'll be great. Me and my 98 HP. We'll see how long that lasts. So I've got a couple spells prepared that if I go to 0 or fewer HP, I'm allowed to use one instance of Lay on Hands on myself, which is a paladin supernatural healing ability.
Okay.
And I just took a feat that raises it from 4d6 to 5d6 of healing, which has the potential to make me not die. So that'll be fun. But I only took 2 of those spells, so if it happens more than twice, I could be fucked. So the way it works in Pathfinder is if you fall to 0 HP, you're essentially bleeding out. And if you fall to the score of negative your constitution number, which for me is 16, I think, or maybe it's 18, I can't remember. If you fall below that, you're dead.
Okay.
I mean, there are resurrection spells, but they cost a lot, etc.
Right.
They usually have detrimental effects, that kind of thing. But we'll see what happens. As I plan on face tanking this thing. Because I'm the tank.
I'm going to set the over-under at 3.5 turns.
Until I'm just totally fucked.
Until everybody is fucked.
We'll see. We'll see. Our GM does not want to TPK.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, then 4.5 turns.
We have a remarkably clever party. So we'll have appropriate, we'll say, preparations in the event things go awry. But I only have 2 level 1 spell slots and 2 level 2 spell slots. Caster level's 5. So yeah, it's a thing.
Preparations, you say?
Yeah. So basically going to town and buying scrolls that we can use. And hope for the best. When we need them.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna see how well that goes.
Okay.
But I've rambled on long enough.
Well, I can do my
Proceed.
games real quick then, because my games list won't be quite as long as yours.
You're probably right.
So while I was at GDQ, I'm going to just mention these real quick. Played a bit of Sound Voltex Heavenly Haven.
Is that the one which the grid of things that you click?
No, this is the one that has the 6 buttons and then the 2 dials in the corners.
Okay.
And then I also played I think it was Q-Bell. That
That's
one
the
is
one.
the 4x4
Yeah, okay.
grid where you
That's
have to
the one I
tap the
could never
buttons.
get. a thing on at SGDQ 2017 because it was always busy.
Oh yeah, and it was the whole time I was there
Yeah,
too.
I can imagine.
Let's see. I did a bit of In the Groove while I was there as well. And of course DDR, but I play that everywhere I go.
Naturally.
And then outside of GDQ, I've gotten my hands on Final Fantasy VII. I've started up a game and just casually just kind of playing it through.
Steam release.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Steam release. I haven't done any of the Fort Condor stuff, so I'm actually doing it this playthrough. Let's see. There's I also occasionally before game night get over to Dave and Buster's because they have a Pump It Up. Not just any Pump It Up, they keep the latest version there. At Dave and Buster's.
Talking the Dave and Buster's up on
West Side, yeah.
Okay.
By the mall. Well,
Side?
in the mall.
It
Yeah.
technically speaking, I suppose it is.
Yep.
Yes.
I mean, they excised part of the JCPenney for it, but
they
Yeah.
sure did.
Yep, it is. They have the 20th anniversary edition there. The USB drives weren't working, so I wasn't able to save my profile, which kind of sucks. But
Lame.
at the very least, like their pads are in good shape, so I'm really excited about that. And then back at home, some World of Warcraft Classic in the very tiny windows that they've set aside for us to enjoy the stress tests. They're closing down the beta in the coming week, so the closed beta. So kind of hoping maybe they'll open it up again. Maybe I'll be able to get my hands on. I'm a dedicated player, damn it. Let's see. And then for speedrun stuff, some more Biomenace, kind of hoping to improve my time enough to have something good to submit to SRC. Because I don't think that there's a category for all 3 episodes at once. I think they're just individual episodes. So
Interesting.
and practicing some more on Blake Stone Planet Strike, which was the one that I played. Was that for Extra Life? Or was that the Super Stigma
That
Slam
was
one?
the inaugural
No,
Super
that-
Stigma Slam one, I think, right?
Or was that end of year? Pretty sure that was end of
Oh
year.
yeah, end
That
of
could
year
also
sounds
be.
right. Yeah, I'll have to
Yeah,
find out which
pretty
one
sure
it
that
was.
was
Yeah,
this
yeah,
year.
yeah.
It's one of
Okay.
those. And then I've also been playing the Blake Stone Aliens of Gold, which is the 6-episode prequel.
Yeah, that's
to
the one that
Planet
I remember
Strike.
playing a bunch
Yep.
of. Well,
So-
the first episode of it, anyways, because shareware.
Shareware.
I think that would, as much fun as I had showing off Planet Strike and as fast as a run that can be, I think Aliens of Gold playing through all the episodes would also be a really cool submission. But I don't know those maps nearly as well.
That sounds like it'd be a lot of. Let's say 6 episodes times probably 9. I want to
It's
say 9 levels
required per. There's a secret
plus a secret
level,
level. Yeah,
but
that's,
if I'm doing 100%, then I'm doing the secret level.
yeah, that's a
but,
heck of a slog. 60 levels of.
Yep.
Oof.
Otherwise, if I'm just doing like beat the game, then it's still gonna be like
Right,
54,
still 54
yeah.
levels.
So, but I mean, some of the levels are also pretty small and pretty straightforward. Planet Strike levels are larger and more
Mhm.
involved. So,
Kenny has a
Mhm.
question for you.
Oh.
Was Blake Stone Aliens of Gold also originally 3 episodes the same way Wolfenstein 3D was 3 and then 6?
I think it was 6 from the get-go.
yeah, it was 6 from the get go, as far as I know. Because even if you had like the shareware episode, you could still see
Yeah.
that there were like 2 through 6 available. I think that they decided that they were going to do 6 out of the gate. It is based on the Wolf 3D engine, so I
Mhm.
mean, like, it's not really a surprise they went with 6 for this as well. So yeah, I think Wolf was the only one that was like 1 to 3 and 4 to 6.
Yeah, that's weird.
That Wolf 3D would be another game that I would submit, or maybe like Spear of Destiny or something. The the big problem with a game like that is all of the imagery that comes with it.
That's
So,
true. That is true.
I don't
That
know
would
if that's
be-
something that I'm going to want to feature on a big stream.
Perhaps not.
So maybe the Super Nintendo version? I don't know.
Was that did they alter that one?
Yes, they did. They took all of
I
that.
mean, it's mid-90s Nintendo.
Yeah. It also wasn't a very good port,
I
but,
Yes, but I don't. Man, it would be materially different if they really altered it, though.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, at least it's not Super Noah's Ark.
Oh, stupid ass.
I mean, I could probably also run Super Noah's Ark. Why not?
Yeah,
it's
if
a
you
Wolf
want-
Engine game.
If you want the worst of all worlds, sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
why not?
I would laugh.
I
Lord,
It's
what a
so
freaking
bad.
game.
if we're including Wolf
Oh.
Engine games, I just got a notification that my copy of Cyclones, which is one of Raven Software's first
Oh
games,
shit! Wow.
shipped out. And that one is also based on the Wolf 3D engine, but it's heavily modified.
Of course.
So that one could be a lot of fun too.
Why not?
That one is actually kind of cool because like you move a mouse cursor to like aim your gun, but you still have like WASD movement and stuff. And you turn with like the right mouse button. You know, you kind of like click and hold it, and then you move your camera.
Interesting.
It
sounds awkward.
It's a very awkward. Back before it was before Quake, so it was quite a bit before people really understood what makes a good first-person shooter
Okay.
interface.
So before true mouse look and all
Yeah.
that.
It's like a faster-paced System Shock type control system, which is kind of weird, but yeah, that's
Intriguing.
and the soundtrack. Oh my gosh, the soundtrack is deliciously 90s.
Like butt rock. No, that butt rock was like mid thousands.
It's think like early 90s techno. Like they would
Ooh.
probably have played some of this stuff at a rave.
Ooh,
So
okay.
it's I'm gonna get a rip of it when it arrives in my mailbox, and share the wealth. But yeah, good times. I am seriously looking forward to this.
The most 90s SNES soundtrack I can think of is definitely Mystic Quest.
That was very nice.
Definitely Mystic
Yeah.
Quest.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh, Doom speedruns. Oh yeah, vertical mouse for because you can it stacks with your other movement, so like you can
yeah.
really fly. It's great. SR50, y'all.
SR50, baby.
Is your game list concluded?
That is my game list.
All right.
right.
Well then, shall move on to my list.
Shut up, Siri. Nobody likes you.
What kind of voice assistant garbage you got
It's
going
like,
on over there?
But you just
I don't even
asked
know
me.
how you did it.
What? How did I trigger that?
I don't know. Shut up, Siri.
It's not happy hardcore. It's just like
I don't even know how you would genreify it there. That's
the kind of music that they played at all the clubs and in like all of those scenes in the movie Blade. Like that's probably the best I
Okay.
can put it.
that's fair.
Or Hackers.
Like-
Music from the movie Hackers. Think that.
Oh, that. Moving on.
It's like that.
Okay. Anyways, so I've played quite a few games actually.
Big surprise.
Yeah, I know, right? It's- hold your monocles. So Minute, I played through Minute. Yeah, right. I know. Let's think about that one for a sec. So Minute's an interesting game. It's you live for 60 seconds at a time.
Mhm.
It's a little adventure game. So you have 60 seconds. You walk around, you pick up stuff, but then you die after 60 seconds and go back to your last checkpoint. Pretty
I
much.
want to say that Sex Rex introduced a lot of people to that at Super Sting Slam, right?
That's probably
Yep,
true.
he brought it
do,
there
he
and,
did do a run of it, which
cool.
I was on host/tech for, so I had to kind of look away because I wanted to play it myself
Yep.
a little bit. So it's like, yeah, okay, all right,
And then
it's still
Spectre
working.
was all like, I'm so picking up this game.
It's a very interesting game. So I went through it twice. Once on the normal kind of go of things where you get 60 seconds, and then on the new game plus you get 40 seconds.
You
at
are a
go,
mosquito.
which is interesting. Does change the route quite a bit. If you plan to either do the quick way where you just dump the end game item right away and call it good, or if you do the actual full run through of it. Having 60 seconds on itself doesn't sound like a lot of time, and it really isn't. But when you compare that to 40 seconds, 60 seconds is a lot of time.
50% more time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it gets a little sketchy sometimes. Besides that, played Below, which is an interesting game. It got a lot of good press because it was in development for like 5 years.
Wow.
It was it's a game by Cappy Games. They first showed it off at PAX Prime 2014, which we were at.
Yeah.
I played it again at PAX Prime 2016, which we were also at. Then we didn't go to PAX for the next few years, so
Yeah.
didn't play it until just now. And it's a fun, very very paced adventure. Each time you die, you start off back at the shore of this island that you land on, and it takes you a good like 2.5 minutes to walk back just to get to the damn dungeon. So it gets tedious. It gets tedious, and I'm sure that was definitely a very explicit design decision that they made.
Yep.
But it ended up being too much for me to do that all the time. So I'm like, okay, I got like 3/4 of the way through. I'm gonna call this good.
Yep.
Cool game.
Mm-hmm.
We're done. Also played a bit of Hive Time, which is an independently developed game by Cheeseness and his partner Mimness. I played a very early access version with him actually on comms with me
that rocks.
for a night, which is totally cool. He's a good dude. I like that. And I'm also now currently playing Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is the new Igavania that was kickstarted. The Kickstarter itself was quite a while ago. It was delayed many times before release, as these big name projects tend to be. But it's a really good. It's Castlevania. Let's be honest, it's a Castlevania game. But it's very good, and I'm having a lot of good times with it. Still going. Probably going to spend another week and a half, 2 weeks on it. But I'm looking forward to that a lot. On the Shmup Book Club front of things, we finished up second quarter, which was Armed Police Batrider. It's a good, kind of frustrating, but also kind of addictive game. So we're done with that. And then the Shmup for the month of June was Ryujin, which is now also done. That was pretty good. It was a decent Shmup, and it's not really particularly good, but it was there. It existed.
I like this Castlevania with the Konami filed off. Good job, EI.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, honestly.
There's a ton of people playing it right now in the speedrunning realm, and it's real interesting.
Oh, there's some really weird stuff you can do with it. Certainly,
Yeah.
there's a lot of fun glitches, but I don't really.
Is it the
care for
very
it.
game?
Ryujin is a very video game. Yes, that is 100% true.
Yeah.
But now we've got a new set both for the third quarter of July through September and the month of July. Kaikan is the monthly one for July, which is a surprisingly competent freeware shmup. Very, very good and interesting, and not too deep, but just deep enough scoring system, as well as pretty banging ass soundtrack. It's really good, really good, really good. Kind of weird how it manages full screen, but that's stuff that can all be worked around. So that's currently going on for the month of July, and then the third quarter shmup is Espgaluda. It's a cave shmup, which it means that there is shit going on that's galaxy brain, as EI likes to put it. I don't know any of the galaxy brain strats for it, but it's fun. It's a good fun shmup. Outside of that, I've also started playing Os. Is that the right pronunciation of it?
I have no idea.
Osu, Os? I don't know.
I've heard it is Osu.
Osu? Okay, Osu then.
Yeah.
Just the initial announcer dude calls it Os. Welcome to Os, or whatever. It's like, okay,
I mean,
fine.
it could be, but
Whatever. So I've started playing that. That was a fun adventure to make that work competently in wine. That is now working properly for me, but whatever. I can understand why people like that game a lot and get really deep into it. Me, I'm just discovering another new fine motor control skill that I don't have very much of. So that's cool and good, and hopefully we'll be improving very, very soon. Also, the standard Assault Android Cactus stuff. I will, of course, be submitting that for Super Stigma Slam 2019. The new Campaign Plus mode, which adds about 15 minutes to the standard speedrun for it, really. Very close to a sub-hour, but have not quite put that one up on the boards yet.
You'll get there.
I will. There's just enough new to it that it wrecks all of your muscle memory and all of everything else. So it's like, well, shoot, I can't do this nearly as well as I would hope. But that's going to be a fun little practice thing that we get ship shape on. Also, I've bought some more Switch games, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, that I'm now through 3-star up through 100cc.
Cool.
Nice.
You know,
What?
I hate to break it to you.
Oh no! What?
I learned by accident that apparently if you get triple star on any of the higher ones, it trickles down to all of the lower
Oh,
ones.
fuck, what?
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
Yep.
Oh, no.
So just for funsies, go to 150 and then do one of the hundreds that you haven't finished yet, and then see if you can triple star 150, and then look at the 100 and
I already
verify
did
my
all the
find.
way through 100.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. So
Well,
I'm
there
gonna have to
you
do
go.
200, I guess,
Yeah.
and see if that...
200 might get you two
son
for.
of- I guess...
If you learn good 200 strats, please tell me.
Yeah, 200 is.
I want to practice 200.
Yeah, that's the only way we're gonna get any more challenge out of
You
the
know,
game.
actually, maybe it's better that I've gone from the bottom up because that gets all the customization things unlocked. So
Oh, that
Yeah,
could
that's
be.
true. That's just
yeah.
based on coins,
yeah,
just straight up
mhm,
coins.
mhm. So whatever. Damn it!
Sorry.
Oh well, it's like 20 minutes a cup, so it's not even that bad. Whatever. Also picked up Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild.
Right on.
I like it.
Cool.
It's a real good game.
I haven't played a whole lot of it yet, much beyond 10 minutes. So
It's a real good game. Well, I won't spoil anything for you, but
Yeah.
I'd let you play
it's-
Botwa.
It's
Saying.
very good. Like I'm not like super gung ho into doing the critical pass storyline stuff because it's just like, oh, what's that over there? Oh, what's that over there? Oh, what's that over there? And suddenly I'm 3 hours deep into the night and like, oh, I didn't do the main objective thing. Oh well.
Yep.
Oh boy. Oh boy. That's it. That's
Neat.
it. Finally. All right. How about we get some more Toonskis bonus level 2?
All right. A Biting Voice Upon the Wind by Rebecca E. Tripp from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
And a remix from Kirby's Return to Dreamland entitled Cocoa and Cookies by JD Astor 64.
And finally, a remix from DuckTales titled "To the Moon or Bust" by Pirate Crab.
All right, that's a quick cutoff. We didn't get there. Meep in there. I considered letting it go just for that.
Aw.
It's tradition.
It is no, it's not. It only happened 23 times. Does that make a tradition?
Yeah.
I don't know that necessarily does, but hey, whatever. But whatever. We got some banging ass good designs, right?
Yeah,
Kinda
I mean,
I think so. Mine is pretty bog standard.
mine is pretty cut down, as that
Cut-
seems to be my thing lately.
Cut down.
So instead of having like a bunch of predefined things like, okay, I want a title like this, and it needs to be this kind of thing with this kind of
Oh,
music,
I
etc.
see.
It's a well, you may if I could just do it real quick.
Well, while you're talking about it, you may
Do
as
it.
well do it.
Game is called Dex Check. It
That's
is.
check.
Check your decks.
Yep. So genre, the only thing I could really think of is a dexterity challenge, and I guess you could call it a rhythm game. It's a single player game. Input method is literally anything that could serve to be triggered. It could be foot pedals, it could be the pancake buttons on the Xbox adaptive controller, it could be little clicker buttons, it could be anything.
Could be alligator clips going into a banana and
I mean, so long as it's capacitive enough for it to send
Yeah.
a signal, I don't
Yeah.
give a shit what it is.
okay.
Anything from 1 to N triggers, depending on however many inputs the whatever the game can parse would be. Graphic style, minimal. Audio style, I guess something to continue doing shit in the background just to keep you focused. Whatever.
Okay.
Just imagine like a USB hurdy-gurdy. I'm sorry.
Why not? There you go.
Oh dear.
Point of view is front facing. Think of it's going to be something like, well, not quite like OS, because you can't draw circles and stupid shit and hold things. Well, I guess you can hold things down, but like,
Yeah.
whatever. It's going to be something similar to that, honestly. Not quite theater rhythm. You're not following a song, that kind of thing. You're just like reacting as quickly as you can at sporadic intervals, just to gauge reaction time and all that kind of stuff. It was inspired by a fucking ADHD test.
So QTE the game.
I don't know that.
Sabishi Bashi.
QuickTime event. Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? That's they had one of those at GDQ as well.
I didn't play, and I was not influenced much by it. I was thinking of, God, this thing gave me a panic attack. Why don't we turn it into a game?
Oh, yeah. It's probably like if you walk past the
no.
arcade and you hear whoa, 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 like just like this rattle of buttons. It was probably that.
Well, I
only
mean,
know
it means
by name.
mishmash in
Yeah.
English, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the mechanics are hit keys / buttons / input triggers, whatever, when they appear on the screen. Objective: complete the game inputs as quickly and accurately as possible. Score multiplier will go up with the more inputs that are bound as options to appear in game. So the more input possibilities you have, the higher every successful input score multiplier is. So it's an arcadey game.
Okay. Good.
You compete for high score.
I'm already interested.
The harder it is, the more you're rewarded.
Okay.
So there you are. It is a single leaderboard.
2 N64 controllers detected.
Yeah, you.
Man, those control modes for GoldenEye were wild.
They were.
Yeah.
Can't imagine. I can't. Oh man, it's it's silly. It's really silly. Who
Yeah.
would do that when they're playing GoldenEye?
Someone who gets records.
I guess. That's so strange. Anyways,
Or
sorry,
wrecked.
continue.
I don't know. Depends. No, that was it. That was the entire game.
Okay.
Told you. Simple concept.
Simple concept, yeah. Well, simple concepts are apparently the theme for tonight.
Mhm.
They're
'Cause-
easy to implement.
Yeah.
Because I've got, and sit down,
Yeah.
there we go. Okay, very good.
Every single show.
A time and speed dilation shmup.
Yo.
Is it
What?
twin stick?
Maybe. Actually, Twin Stick is part of it, yes.
All right. all right.
It's a shmup that involves a couple different modes to it in a single game. First, there's area mode. It's a kind of a low-speed, twin-stick, omnidirectional shmup,
Mhm.
where you're taking on, say, a star base or a huge group of fighters or something. It's space-based because space is cool. The bulk of the visible area is centered around your aiming direction, so as you're facing forward, you see more of the area in front of you as the camera shifts to less the area behind you, so you kind of got to watch out for yourself a little bit. Includes all hazards from every other game mode, so you got to be on your toes for what's coming at you, including enemy formations with one leader and multiple escorts. This is very similar to Bosconian. I don't know if anybody's played that kind of
Never
classic
played,
game. All right,
no.
well, okay, good. I won't even bother then. And then one of the other modes is a travel mode, which is more of a standard traditional directional shmup, where you're moving at high speed in order to get from area to area. So things can approach from pretty much any direction. If they're approaching from the sides, the sides of the direction that you're traveling, they kind of very slowly drift in. You kind of maneuver around and kind of shoot them down. Or they can come at you from the front, so you got to react really quick. Either get out of the way, you idiot, or shoot them down.
Hell yeah, Jurassic Park arcade game.
Right?
Yeah.
Sort of like that, but in typical side-scrolling or
Yeah,
vertical scrolling shmup form.
Fair.
Or they can come from the rear. So again, move out of the way and wait for them to pass you, so you can just blast them straight open. And in travel mode, the faster you move, the more the view compresses behind you, so you can kind of see a little bit more distance, I suppose, behind you, but it's more kind of smashed together, so you don't know exactly what's going on, but you might catch a little flash here and then where bullet streams are coming in or new enemies are coming in or whatever.
Sure.
And the more the view stretches ahead of you, so you'll see more ahead of you than you typically would in a non-stretch screen. So you can adjust as faster shit comes towards you. Enemy formations enter from all sides. Already kind of covered that. Destroying formation leader causes the rest to try to scramble away. Very much like Bosconian, which you two have never played, so it's kind of a lost reference there. But you get more bonus points for destroying them all in the formation. 1.5x if you get them all, or 2x if you get all the escorts first and then destroy the leader. Travel mode hazards, asteroid belts, including quick time events to avoid, since you're going to be just going straight on through, so you better move your butt pretty fast and with pretty good reactions, otherwise you're going to get smashed. Comets, which are pretty rare, they're crossing into your travel direction from side to side. You get bonus points for traveling in their wake. Stars, which are also super rare, they come directly at you since they're relative to space, they're kind of stationary, right? But you get lots of warning beforehand, so you can kind of slide to one side of the kind of travel direction in order to not get burned as you travel very close and or through the stars. And then planets, extremely rare, but you need to avoid them. You can't just fly through them like you can stars if you're moving fast enough. You gotta get out the way or you're done. All right, sorry, I cut somebody off. Yeah, no?
No,
Okay.
I was just making amused noises. So.
Oh, okay. Oh, very good. Amused noises are good as well. And then there's a final mode, escape mode, which is really a beefed up travel mode. If you're in area mode and you get damaged sufficiently, you trigger an emergency escape where you will immediately enter travel mode. Everything's like 2 or 3x speed. But in this mode, if you get hit once, that's it. You're done. If you survive the 15 to 60 seconds of this mode, however, then you survive. You get maybe half or 3/4 of your shield or health back or whatever. But then you go back into the main flow of the game. One hit death, fixed time sequence we just covered. And then once you kind of get out of escape mode, however long it tends to last, maybe it increases in length the more often you trigger escape mode. You get back to kind of a safe low speed area mode, but you got to make your decisions real quick after that, because otherwise it gets real dense with enemies, hazards. So it's safe, but you got to think on your feet and decide where you're going to go next and go. Otherwise, you're just going to get mobbed immediately. And that's it. Ta-da!
I was just waiting for and time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, also true, sort of. But yeah, it's standard accoutrement of things, leaderboards and I guess weapon upgrade pickups or whatever. I don't really care to introduce that. Really, it's a shmup. You shouldn't be thinking about too many things at once unless you're a cave shooter or whatever. But yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Hooray.
All right. So my design, I also went shmup-ish. Well, shmaside.
Not shmadown?
Yeah, not shmadown. With rhythm game elements, because of course I have to
Wait,
mix.
hold on a second.
No, right? Rhythm game. Saxxon's idea is a rhythm game. What? So you have your 8-directional ship movement per usual. Single hit death and whatnot. So in the background there's a song with a pretty well audible rhythm that just plays in the background, and so all of your ships fire must be done kind of according to like a rhythm that's laid out. And there's the main game scrolling field, which like left to right, some stages right to left because we want to mess with you a little bit.
Sure, of course.
And then below that and above that, so on both the top and the bottom of the screen, you're gonna get like a horizontal like it's kind of like a rhythm indicator. It's not like Crypt of the Necrodancer where it's it's kind of closing in. This is like one side to another. It's kind of like a like how you
like a metronome type thing.
Yeah, well, maybe not metronome, but it's just like constantly scrolling in the direction opposite to which you're moving. So kind of scroll with the background. And there's gonna be like tick marks and stuff on it to kind of like let these are the times in which you can actually like fire and stuff like that. And that'll be for like like your main weapon and stuff. Oh my. I think my timer's going on. Yeah. I'll worry about that in a second. That's right. It's 9 o'clock. So the earlier stages have a bit of like a slower tempo, and it's probably easier to fire on like some subdivisions where applicable, like 16ths and whatnot. And if you manage to fire offbeat, it'll cause the weapon to gain heat, which eventually dissipates. But you can, overheat your weapon and basically render it useless for a short period of time. It has to cool back down past like a cooling threshold. So like you can go beyond that threshold, but like once you cap it out, then you can't use it until it cools off to that much.
Okay.
There are 3 fire buttons, one of each color, red, green, blue. They can be reconfigured, in an options menu for those who need, different colors, or if you want to self-impose a challenge mode, you can just, make them just really bizarre stuff.
All gray, except intentional this time, Jamestown.
Flat mode.
And then combo CMYK, right?
Yeah, there we go. So, they're the 3 different fire buttons for 3 different weapons, main weapons that you have. The rhythm field itself, so the one at the top and the bottom of the screen, has a background color as it scrolls that corresponds to the colored fire buttons. So, like, if let's say like it's currently green, but you see like this red section coming up, like you'll know in a couple beats that you're gonna need to start, mashing red instead of green and whatnot.
Okay.
In earlier stages, it's gonna be kind of simple. Later stages, it might start switching off more often. Later than that, it might force you to press 2 colors at the same time by dividing the bar up. So it might be like red on top and green on the bottom, that kind of thing. So that's going to cause you to like change the buttons that you press in order to fire your weapon. Now each weapon that you fire has it's also going to have like a distinct sound or music patch that'll coincide with the music. So like you'll be able to hear like the music that you're essentially like kind of crafting as you play these notes / fire your weapon. So that's the main play. You're gonna have like waves of enemies and all this other fun stuff. Avoid the obstacles, avoid the environment, blah blah blah. But then you get to the boss, and boss stages have slightly altered rules. The playfield, instead of being Schmaside, is going to be Schmadeep. Yeah, there you go. Schma forward. I have no idea. But it's gonna switch to like kind of like like Star Fox, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, okay, I can see that.
And so in this mode, you'll have to instead of being allowed to like press red during this section and green during this section and so on, you have to be a lot more precise about the ones that you press while still avoiding enemy fire. So like you'll see kind of tick marks come down, sort of like your traditional like rhythm game, like press red at this point and so on. And effectively, you have to avoid enemy fire, outlast the boss, and it'll get more and more difficult as it progresses and stuff. When you've effectively run the boss out of time, or out of health, I guess, then Then you get to go into like a final overload mode, which is kind of like finish him. And you're encouraged to just mash the fuck out of everything. It's just and like you'll see a meter just sort of like charge. The faster you press the buttons, the faster the meter will max out. And so it's kind of like a final hurrah. Like you just kick this boss's ass. Like just do it. And and then at the end, like you just deliver this final like awesome blow. And then like next stage. And yeah, that's all I got.
When I think about Schmadeeps, I think about Gyrus for NES, where it's kind of like
God, I love Gyrus.
like
It's
the
so
circle
good.
around you as enemies come
Yeah.
forward at you, or Tempest, I suppose, too, is kind
Yeah.
of that same sort of
Is it
thing.
more like Schmadeep Schmawheel?
Right, circle, Schma whatever, Schma rail shooters was
Schmalips.
mentioned as well. Schmalips, yeah. Well, Schma shapes, very Schma shapes.
I'm too sober.
Wow,
for
really
this.
got you.
Oh no.
Tube shmups, tube shooters,
I'm,
yeah. Okay.
I'm schmadone. Like I just.
Shooters. Whoa.
Tube shooter. Well,
Whoa.
I mean, yeah, but
Oh wow.
phew, phew,
Oh my
phew, lads.
Shma moving on.
Yeah.
Schnaboobila.
Yeah, good artists.
Uh-huh.
Like their stuff.
Uh-huh.
So, well, hey, we got like
Mm.
2 shmups and 2 rhythms, and yeah, that's
Shma
about-
rhythm.
Shma rhythms,
Schmitham.
Smithers, and 2 bishibashis, and 2 of every other flavor of genre we care to cover on here.
Hell
I
yeah,
suppose.
colors.
Shmabashi. That would be pretty.
Shmabashi. Wow.
Smashy.
Oh my goodness.
Smashy.
Phew. Well, I guess with that, any other final closing remarks we need to put out there before we call this one done? We call this iteration complete.
You have just over 3 weeks to finish your submissions
True.
for Super Stigma Slam. Go out and do it. It is submit.superstigmaslam.com. Go do it.
Do it.
Do it.
This is such a
Yeah.
this is such
Yeah,
a
it is.
stupid line. I don't.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
I can't do this anymore.
Okay. All right.
Whew, save me.
Okay. Well, with that, thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for listening. If you're on audio only, I am MrBond.
Beep.
No, that's at the end of the bonus level too. You can't just meep at me, can you?
And I'm Tormod.
Oh, and I'm Why did you do this?
I can't do it like really quick. It's sorry. Here's what we're gonna do.
Why?
There.
Me.
And I'm Saxxon.
We'll leave you with our typical closing track. A remix from Mario Kart Wii entitled "Wind in Your Hair" by Overclocked University. Good night, everybody.
Ciao.
Adios.